Welcome to another episode of where I'm going to talk about Week 14 of this NFL season. And there's already a team that clinched the playoffs, and there's a couple teams that are out of the playoff picture entirely. So before I even start, let's mention this in the college football world. We did lose probably our biggest personality in the college football world in Mike Leach. So, I think it was like a March. Why am I going where it's? Let's go look at a calendar. I don't know. I lost amount of days. So it was like during the weekend, he suffered apparently like a heart condition, like most likely a massive heart attack. Like I don't know, something heart related issue. He had to be airlifted to a hospital, and would pass away just a couple days ago. So, lost a guy, and let's just take a look at his coaching pedigree. So, Mike Leach, he started his career in 1987 as like the absolute assistant coach. He was around Iowa, Wesleyan, Valdosta State. He got his first major college football job as an offensive coordinator 1997 and 98 at Kentucky with Hal Mumme as head coach. And the quarterback over there was Tim Couch. Even though he wouldn't succeed in the NFL, he was successful enough at Kentucky to put himself at the first overall pick. He goes to Oklahoma, a team I'm a fan of. He was the offensive coordinator for a year. The quarterback is Josh Heupel, who in 2000 would become the Heisman runner-up, and is now head coach of Tennessee. He gets his first head coaching gig at Texas Tech, and this is where the Mike Leach effect takes place. The air raid offense. Now, college football was already introduced to a spread offense led by Joe Tiller, but by 2000, the air raid really started to take place. You got quarterbacks like Cliff Kingsbury, who's now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I'll talk more about Cliff Kingsbury in a little bit. And B.J. Simmons, who used to set the passing yards record before Bailey Zappi broke it last year. His signature year as a college football head coach is 2008, where you have Texas Tech. Their offense was just scoring point after point after point. They beat Kansas. Kansas was pretty good in 2008. Then his signature win was Texas in 2008. Texas versus Texas Tech. Texas was the number one team in the country. They had Colt McCoy, Jordan Shipley, and so Texas was a very good game. Texas Tech was leading much of the game, but Texas would come back, and then Texas Tech had that final drive, and it finished off with that, as we all know, that Michael Crabtree touchdown, where he pretty much mossed the corner, broke the tackle, and scored a touchdown. The Texas Tech beat the number one team in the country. They got as high as number 2. They crushed Oklahoma State. And then Oklahoma, with Sam Bradford, DeMarco Murray, Jermaine Gresham, they were just simply too much. And their national title hopes were good. But a very great year for Texas Tech, as Texas Tech just doesn't have those kind of seasons. Now, he unfortunately did leave in bad terms in 2009. Got into a little bit of a mess, and would be out of coaching for 2 years, goes to Washington State, a horrible program. He turns into a respectable program. He had a couple 9-win seasons, had an 11-2 season in 2018 where they won the Alamo Bowl. Then, of course, he takes the Mississippi State job. That hadn't had many good years. They didn't. When Nick Fitzgerald left, the team just sucked. But Leach took over, and with Will Rogers as quarterback, the team really got going, and they finished an 8-4 season. Unfortunately, he will not be able to coach the bowl game. Zach Arnett will be the interim head coach for Mississippi State. But we're all going to know Mike Leach for those really odd, quirky, weird interviews, and that's just who he was. I mean, he didn't care who you fought. He didn't give two damns of what you fought of him. He was going to do what Mike Leach always does. Get some weird interviews, have that air raid offense, and turn around programs. So So that's how I wanted to start off this video. So now let's get to the NFL games. The Rams versus the Raiders. Oh boy. Classic Derek Carr, stinking the bed. He really didn't do good. Josh Jacobs had a solid day. It was just being the bell cow of the offense. Baker Mayfield, a guy who basically got off of waiver claims, just jumped off the street, puts on this weird uniform of the Rams, and the bake show occurred. Yeah, the Raiders lost to that. Devontae Adams had that one good catch, but he didn't make a couple good catches. He made two. But just really didn't do any good. Really? Raiders? You're going to lose to the Rams, who are so desperate. They had no problem picking up Baker Mayfield. Come on, man. Raiders, you're small. Your tiny playoff chances are over. Done. Jets and the Bills. Wasn't this game a slog? This game was a slog. It was trench warfare. Every inch was valuable this game. Allen did not play his best game. He kind of dink and dunked much in the game. So did Mike White. The weather conditions really kind of forced them to dink and dunk. Mike White actually got pulled out of the game twice with bad rib injuries. He actually finished the game. He actually, when the game was over, transported to the hospital. Good old Mike White, but it wasn't enough. The Bills were able to pull it out and win 20-12. Bills kind of slowly got the momentum, and that's all it took in that trench warfare game. The Browns versus the Bengals. This game was not really a contest. Joe Burrow, not his perfect day, but good enough. Joe Mixon had some splash plays running the ball. Samaje Perine really starting to be that number 2 back that the Bengals really can use. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Trent Irwin caught a touchdown pass. The Browns Deshaun Watson had an okay game, but obviously when you haven't played football in almost 2 years, you're going to show some rust. The Bengals defense shut down Nick Chubb, and for this season, you shut down Nick Chubb, you shut down the entire team. The Cowboys, oh boy, they kept the competition with the Texans. Davis Mills, and then eventually Jeff Driscoll went to the game. Prescott didn't really play good at all. And what the Cowboys are so lucky is that 1, they play the Texans, and 2, they have a balanced attack now. Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard are both very good running backs. And Dak Prescott doesn't have to throw it on every single down. So they actually did get the game-winning drive and win 27-23. Dalton Schultz and Noah Brown were the 2 best receivers in the game. And the Cowboys, you dodged one. But if the Cowboys want to actually be legit for the first time in over 20 years, that can't happen. You cannot let the Texans compete. I'm sorry. You got to tighten up. The Lions are in a hot streak. The Lions, they've won 5 out of their last 6 games. They're on a hot streak. Their offense has been very well this season. The defense has kind of tightened up. They were the worst defense for like the first 2 months of the season. Now that defense is just mediocre, but it's good enough to win these games. Jared Goff is going 2018 mode with guys like DJ Shark, Amon St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, and Jameson Williams caught his first touchdown pass of his career. Came back from that torn ACL he suffered in college. The national title game against Georgia. Kirk Cousins did everything he could. Him and Justin Jefferson was just a monster. 11 catches, 223 yards. DJ Hawkinson and Adam Thielen had good days. What really cost the Vikings was Dalvin Cook. The Lions just ate him up. 1.5 yards per carry. Just in a disgusting number from a guy who was very good. This game was competitive for a while, the Tennessee Titans and the Jaguars. But after the first quarter, the Jags just poured it on them. Like Trevor Lawrence has made that big step. He's been playing very well lately. Evan Ingram can somehow catch the ball now. Zay Jones has been very solid. Christian Kirk still overpaid, but still a nice option. Ryan Tannehill kind of had a Ryan Tannehill game. Complete a couple of passes, but made some mistakes. Derrick Henry did something that Derrick Henry just doesn't do. Fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball twice today. And those key turnovers just gave the Jags the momentum that they would never relinquish. And the Jags won 36-22. The Jags are 5-8. The Titans, I think they'll still win the division. They're 2 ahead, but I don't think this team's going to win a playoff game. The Giants, they're starting to crack. Teams are starting to figure out that if you shut down the run, you're just shutting down this team. I mean, Jalen Hurts is just ridiculous. I mean, when you have a quarterback who, of his physique and athleticism, been a very consistent passer, you're just going to have a dangerous offense. Miles Sanders has gone off. Weapons like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That offense, when they're on, they're just pouring points. Giants defense couldn't stop them. 48-22. The Eagles, they've already clinched the play. They're guaranteed to make the playoffs. They officially clinched it. The Ravens, even without Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley got knocked out of the game. They had to send Anthony Brown in. Yeah, that's right. Anthony Brown, remember from Oregon last year, who was pretty good last year at Oregon. He came into the game. Kenny Pickett got knocked out of the game. Had to put in Mitchell Trubisky, who, if you're talking about completion percentage, he's pretty good. The problem is he threw 3 picks. 3 picks that completely wrecked the game. J.K. Dobbins came back from that torn ACL last year. 15 carries, 120 yards, 8 yards per carry? That's pretty good. Gus Edwards averaged 5 yards per carry. Ravens played ugly, but it was enough. It was enough to win. And that's what matters in the NFL. Now, we could talk crap about the Cowboys all we want against the Texans, but they won. Chiefs and the Broncos, this game was something. The Chiefs were just firing on all cylinders. They were up 27-0. It was the classic Nathaniel Hackett offense. And then they just blew up. They just blew up. Russell Wilson actually was looking good. Mahomes he threw some key picks. Marlon Mack, of all people. Marlon Mack caught a 60-plus yard touchdown. Marlon Mack. Yeah. Crazy. The Broncos scored 28 points. The best offensive game they played all year under this joke of a head coach and Nathaniel Hackett. Yet they still lost. Do I have to say it again? Fire this man. He's no good. He's useless. He's inept as a head coach. That offense, one game wonder. The Bucs got absolutely destroyed. Brock Purdy, the Mr. Irrelevant himself, is the first quarterback to beat Tom Brady in their first start. Purdy made some key completions. Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason ran the ball well. Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey caused some good touchdown passes. Just dominating the Bucs. The Bucs offense is just stagnant. They're dead, and they're just well past their expiration date. Unfortunately, the Niners, Deebo Samuel's probably out for the rest of the regular season with a knee sprain. So the Niners they'll still win the division in my opinion. I think they're clearly the best team in the NFC West, but if they're gonna make a run in the playoffs, they need Deebo Samuel back in the playoffs. They need him healthy. He's just too important to their offense to miss. The Seattle Seahawks, they're kind of slowing down. Geno Smith, he's still having a great season, but he's kind of slowing down just a little bit. The Panthers, they kind of grounded and pounded with Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman. And even though the Seahawks did try to fight back, at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough, and they lost 30-24. The Seahawks, they still a great season. This season was odd because they still have their first round pick, but they had the Broncos' first round pick. So it's kind of a relaxing season for Seahawks fans, I guess. They've overachieved, and it's not going to affect them. So I don't know what to feel if you're a Seahawks fan. You're definitely laughing at the Broncos. The Sunday nighter, the Dolphins and the Chargers. Oh my God. That Emmanuel Acho, he's a clown. He's a clown. Calling Justin Herbert a social media quarterback? Well, he had his way against Tua Tagovailoa. And I haven't said Tua Tagovailoa because he's actually been playing well the entire season. This was his first bad game. This was the Tua Tagovailoa game. Just really struggling to complete passes. The Chargers offense was, I wouldn't say methodical, but that's kind of what it was. Mike Williams is just going nuts. Keenan Allen's that reliable target. Austin Eckler is doing what he does. Josh Palmer has proved to be a nice option. And the Chargers, their playoff chances, they kind of saved their season. This was probably a must-win game, and they beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins they're looking like Super Bowl contenders. Now they got to regroup a little bit. Even though that Tyreek Hill fumble recovery touchdown was pretty sick to watch, but at the end of the day, they still lost. The Patriots and the Cardinals. Oh God. Kyler Murray gone for the year. Torn his ACL on the third play. Now you have Colt McCoy, who is a solid backup, but the Cardinals season's already a train wreck. They lost to the Patriots. The Patriots just had their way. McCoy was sacked 6 times. The offense is just not very good. They relied too much on Kyler Murray just improvising. Cliff Kingsbury is just not a very good head coach in the NFL level. He needs to go. Their GM, who is actually going to take a leave of absence because he's having health concerns, but he needs to be fired too. Just the Bidwells suck at owning a team. They just suck. They just have bad ownership right now. Just like what the Colts have. And thank God the Colts don't play a single damn game this season. My God. So let's talk about the playoff picture. So the number 1 seeds are the Bills and the Eagles. In the AFC, the Chiefs 10-3. Ravens are still leading their division. The Titans are leading their division with 7-6. The wild card teams are Bengals, Dolphins, and Patriots. The 2 teams are really on the hunt are the Chargers and the Jets. The Jaguars, the only way I think the Jaguars can make the playoffs is winning their division. I think they're the only losing record in the AFC that has a chance. The Jags have to win out, and the Titans they have to have the Titans to collapse. So for the NFC, the 2 seed are the Vikings, 3 seeds the 49ers, 4 seed is the Bucks. They have a losing record, and the wild card's a little more chaotic here. The Cowboys, the Commanders, or the Commies, the Giants, and the 2 teams are on the hunt are the Seahawks and the Lions. The Lions, they're on a hot streak. If they can keep it up, the playoff chances is real. The Panthers and the Falcons can technically still have a chance to win their division. God, the NFC South is terrible. Terrible division. My God. Who do I think is an MVP frontrunner? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, Mahomes has to be up there. Jalen Hurts. Hurts is just having a monstrosity of a season. Like throwing the ball and running the ball, Hurts has just been nuts. Michael Parsons wants to make an argument, but oh boy. When did the Cowboys? Christmas Eve. The Cowboys and the Eagles play on Christmas Eve in 2 weeks. Things are about to get heated. Because Nick Parsons made an argument that he should have been the MVP. And the Eagles left tackle said he should worry just about the Cowboys. Things are about to get heated. There are 3 teams that are already completely eliminated from the playoffs. The Bears, Texans, Broncos. 2 teams are on the tank. Well, the Broncos, they really can't tank because their first round pick belongs to Seattle. Oh, God. The Denver Broncos. Oh, man, 2015 is so damn long ago. They just free fall. Well, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. It's so funny to laugh at the Broncos. It really is to laugh at the Broncos. So, let's look at the games for this week. So the Thursday, 49ers and Seahawks, that will be a key game. The Saturday games, the Dolphins and the Bills is the biggest one. The Colts are losing the Vikings, we all know this. The Ravens play the Browns, that'll be pretty interesting. Some key games, the Lions and the Jets, that's going to be a huge game. Cowboys and the Jags, huge game for the Jags. Titans and the Chargers is going to be very interesting. Both teams self-destructing themselves, but when they're on, they're on. The Bengals and the Bucks got to keep winning to keep a hold. The Giants and the Commanders play. Both teams really need this win to secure their playoff hopes. So that'll be it for this episode. I've made 20 episodes of this already. My God. So that'll be it, and thanks for watching.